The African Israelite Justice Foundation is not your usual legal practice. You see, we focus primarily on cases involving injustice against African Israelite groups or injustice against individuals because he or she identifies as an African Israelite or an Israelite of African descent. In other words, we are not a general legal practice. Instead, we specialize on African Israelite cases. And also, family, please keep in mind, we are a brand new organization, not affiliated with any existing organizations. However, it is our hope to establish connections with all African Israelite groups and people here in the States and around the world. Family, we need to hear your stories of injustice so that we can begin to record, investigate, and identify the enemies of Israel hiding behind the veil, and then ultimately hold them accountable in a court of law. And as stated before, we are a brand new organization with limited funds, and we are in the process of expanding our resources to further enhance our legal team, who will litigate our cases. And if you would like to join this historic cause, please share this message all over social media. Spread this message of IsraeliteJustice.org worldwide. And get this message from Kyrie to Kanye, from Whoopi Goldberg to Nick Cannon. And also share your stories of injustice or donate to the cause. And if you so choose to, you can remain anonymous and let us do all the work. After all, that's what the Israelite Justice Foundation is here for. We are here to fight for your right to be Israel. As always, thank you in advance. We appreciate you and love you, Israel. Take care, family. Shalom.
What's going on, family? I wanted to start it with that because we finna have some good old conversation. Y'all want to talk to me while I cook my Sunday dinner? Don't talk about me because I'm cooking Sunday dinner. I'm only doing it because I just think I need to cook. And I got some collard greens on sale. So I got about 3 bunches of collard greens. So I've already started my little pot of turkey. Which part did I have? Turkey necks. Got my onion, my bell pepper, and my seasonings boiling. And once my turkey necks start falling apart, you know how you stick that fork in it and you pick it up and it drops back in the pot? You know your, what do you call it, pot liquor is ready. And I'm going to stuff them collard greens in there. And I'm making me a good old roast. That's slow cooking right now. I'm gonna probably make some candy yams in a little bit. I decided to cook, Saints. I decided to cook. So that's why yesterday, pray for me, y'all, my ADHD. I said that, okay, I got a live schedule. I thought I had the live schedule for like 10:30. And left and went to the store around 7 because, you know, we had the big issue in New York where it was flooding. We did have flooding Friday. It was bad. It was bad. I actually stayed in the house and it didn't impact me as much. I saw cars. I saw on the news where cars was floating down the road. I hurried up and went downstairs and said, "Wait a minute, let me make sure my little car ain't um floating down the road." Somebody said, "Y'all don't talk about me and my smoked turkey necks." But so I wanted to make sure my car wasn't floating. So I ran downstairs and went back up. So that was Friday. So with that, I wasn't able to do my normal after work run to the grocery store and do my thing for the weekend. So I had to do it yesterday. So everything was cleared up. I was in downtown Brooklyn yesterday. Had stopped by the grocery store on I forgot the name. Stop and Shop, and stopped real quick and got my stuff for my food. And I'm in the grocery store at 7 o'clock, and the grocery store is crowded because I guess everybody else had the same idea. So all of us in the grocery store fighting to get in there, and it seems like they had one register going, which was stupid to me. That's why I go to the one in Queens. And I said, see, they already made me mad. But I tried to do the one in Brooklyn. One, I got to pay for parking. I don't like that. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna go to Brooklyn. I'm gonna go to Queens from now on. So I went in the store and I looked at my clock. I said 8:30. I said, oh, I got enough time. You know how you clocking yourself. Hour rolled by. I'm listening to something on Clubhouse as I'm shopping. And I said, okay, I got an hour. I'm good. So I'm in the line, and lo and behold, I get a text message from someone, and I got Angie call me. Sis, where you at? I said, where who at? She said, you got a live. I said, wait. I looked at my thing. Must have hit 9:15 when I was trying to hit 2:15. That's what happened when you schedule something on your phone. I wasn't paying attention. And I should have paid attention. So that's why I had to, reschedule and do this. So my apologies. I got all my stuff for my food. Hold on. Yep, that's what I want. All right. Got it to the boil. Now I'm going to slow boil it. Yes, it's going to be a little delicious here. I hope. I ain't cooked this in a long time. So that's why, y'all, I was a little late. So my apologies. So let's get to talking. So there are a few things that's getting ready to happen. One, on October 4th, which is which is the Wednesday, they're going to do what you can say a testing of the emergency system. I've never seen, and y'all tell me, yes, buttermilk cornbread, but I forgot about that. Yeah, I got some cornbread. I actually bought my cornbread, y'all. My oven, I hate my oven in this apartment. Cannot stand it. Hate it. Actually, I'm not going to be living here in the next, I'm finna end this lease because they made me mad. Plus, I want to get closer, more inward into Brooklyn. So I'm tired of the appliances. So I am planning to move here soon. And it's going to be a move. I'm finna sit tight for a little bit till it's time for us to go probably. So back to the original subject. So yeah, I'm going to do some buttermilk cornbread, but I bought it rather than, Y'all had to put my lid on my pot of turkey necks. I like to bring it to a boil and then take it to a medium and then put the top on it and then just let it cook. Angie, whatever. but back on the original scheduled programming. I did not I've never heard of them saying that they're getting ready to do something like this where it's all on the news, an emergency test. And I said, this is interesting. What's going on to make them test? We don't know. I try not to put fear in people, but I will say we got to be mindful because one, y'all, I think we're getting closer and closer to World War III. I really do. I really think that it's like right at the cusp. But most people won't agree with me, but it's so much going on. And y'all know I said originally, I think it's Africa that they're going to be fighting over. I think ultimately we're looking at the Ukraine, and that's another conversation we get ready to have. They're looking at Ukraine far as what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. But being honest, this world is getting lower and lower on natural resources. It's just not accessible. They've drained the swamp pretty much. They've pretty much, I'm talking about drained the swamp. And because they've drained the swamp, what land has multitude of natural resources that's continually, growing? It's just like land of milk and honey is Africa. So I really think that the last stand, and I think a lot of us have said this, the last stand and the last fight is going to be Africa. Y'all hear Rio? No, he over here playing with his toy and he's just having him a good time. No, he having him a good time, y'all. He want to be heard. He want to be heard. Get out of there. He want to be heard. He said he want to be in the live. But yeah, Africa is where all of it is, and I think, hush, I think that's where we're gonna see the last stand. But with that segue, because you can tell something's going on because you're in a situation where you're consistently seeing issues as far as debt ceiling. Something's going on with all right, Ruhama, she says she painting. Ruhama always doing something. She always doing something, y'all. But they're having issues with debt. And the thing is, the U.S. is not the only country that's having issues with debt. It's multiple countries dealing with debt. So yesterday, they had a big event where they were talking about a shutdown. So from what I got from everybody, y'all could tell I was in the store, that they have like a 45-day window to maintain until they come to an agreement. One of the things that's on the table is the Republicans are not going to fund Ukraine. They don't want to fund Ukraine anymore. They're tired of funding this war. So they are doing a lot of infighting. Now, a lot of people say it's staged. I think it is to an extent, but I honestly think that it is something that there is going to be infighting. So let me play this. They already fighting, Saints. I'm letting them fight. I ain't in it. I don't care. I heard Paris is nasty anyway. I've heard that through the grapevine, that country is that particular area, city or area, Paris is nasty. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, so. All right.
Their voices on, we've had it with you, Kevin McCarthy. Now, of course, you're in the United States Senate, but this angst it's building against Speaker McCarthy, who could lose his job for just one angry member. What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, it's 218 to vacate the chair, not for Kevin to lose his position. Kevin's going to be Speaker as long as he wants to be Speaker. Scott Perry
one could get that process going.
One could get the process going, but doesn't mean one can get the vote.
Understood.
One has a great idea, but that doesn't mean you can get 218 to support you. And Scott Perry he's the chairman of the Freedom Caucus, which brings forth a lot of good conservative bills. But remember, he also supported the bill that they've been trying to get passed over here, and you have these few outliers that's not. So Scott's a reasonable individual, and at the end of the day, he's just trying to get the most conservative bill he can get done, and the speaker's trying to get forth the best bill he can get signed into law done. So we're all working together. We're just not all in the same boat, rowing in the same direction.
Assuming you can work past this, and you're quite right to point out, Senator, that we always resolve these things. Some last longer than others. But the big fear is that the damage it could do to the economy. I believe the last stoppage back in 2019 shaved about 0.2% off government GDP. Hard to prove that, but there is that concern. And the White House now has immediately turned around and said, whatever happens here, it's on Republicans. What did you think of that?
Well, I totally disagree, because the Republicans right now, Kevin McCarthy could pass a clean CR for 45 days. He could also pass FAA reauthorization and maybe disaster relief on there too. And he could get it done. But yesterday, the White House told Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats, do not support a clean CR. He wants to hold off to get the Schumer bill, knowing it's dead on arrival. We were negotiating with him until 11 o'clock last night, trying to get the White House, trying to get President Biden to say, let them support it. Because remember that when it comes to the House, they got to bring it in suspension with the clean CR. So that means it's not 218, it's going to be around 290, depending on how many are here today. So there's no way Republicans could vote it by themselves regardless. So this shutdown is going to be more on the White House than it is on the Republicans. They can message it however they want to, but if he wants to keep the government open, then the White House needs to tell the Democrats to support a clean CR. And how is that controversial?
All right, we'll follow it closely. Senator, thank you for taking the time. I know you're burning the midnight oil well into the weekend. We'll see how all that sorts out. Mark
for having me on, Neil.
Thank you again. The senator from the beautiful state of Oklahoma. He's acting as a key liaison in all of this.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube.
Back. So what do y'all think? I think I had the list. Hold on. Let me get the list for y'all. List of hold on, y'all. I'm looking for something and I had it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I had it. Hold on. I had it right here. Here it is. I think here it is. Hold on. Here it is. I'm finna play this one.
Republicans in Congress have been holding the American economy hostage by threatening to. For months, this country has been watching a slow-rolling hostage situation. Republicans in Congress have been holding the American economy hostage by threatening to drive the country into default. And today, those Republicans finally announced the ransom. Earlier this evening, House Republicans voted 217 to 215, which is a squeaker, to approve a plan.
Hold on. I'm gonna make sure this one is. What year was this done? Okay. Hold on. I think this is.
And to increase the debt ceiling in exchange for dramatic cuts to America's social safety net and its safety infrastructure. This came after a few days of very tense negotiations among Republicans and only Republicans to see if the party could even agree on what it actually wanted. Concessions were made and deals were brokered, but in the end, 3 Republicans voted against the measure, saying it did not go far enough. A 4th Republican, Congressman Tim Burchett, also voted against the bill because he apparently doesn't believe in ever raising the debt ceiling, which is apparently a legitimate position to have in today's GOP. Anyway, as for all the other House Republicans today, they voted for a bill that would end critical food assistance for anywhere between 275,000 to 900,000 people, according to expert estimates. They voted to kick 600,000 Americans off of Medicaid and to significantly increase health care costs for state governments. That is according to the Congressional Budget Office. The bill would also result, according to one estimate, in 780,000 fewer jobs over the next 10 years. It would have cut 80,000 jobs from the VA health system. And the Department of Veterans Affairs estimates that in turn that would result in 30 million fewer patient visits per year for American veterans. Republicans voted to cut off affordable housing assistance for more than 1 million families. They voted to cut Pell Grants and block President Biden's student loan forgiveness program. They voted to cut early childhood education programs, to cut green energy tax credits, And the plan passed by House Republicans would reduce the number of rail safety inspections by 7,500 and shut down 375 air traffic towers around the country. So the same party that claimed to be outraged by that East Palestine rail disaster, that criticized Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg for his handling of major flight delays, that same party just voted to make air travel harder and to make railways less safe. Republicans just put themselves on record supporting all of that because this is their wish list. This is the stuff they want in exchange for not tanking the global economy. During the debate over the bill on the House floor, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, she had this to say.
For a long time, Republicans spent so much time saying they were going to address the economic anxiety families were feeling, but overnight they dreamt up a dangerous economic bill that will plunge families into economic depression.
Joining us now is Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Congresswoman, it's great to see you. I'm sorry it's always often under gloomy circumstances. Let me just ask you, are you surprised that Kevin McCarthy was actually able to pass a bill with members of his own caucus? Because the bar is really that low at this point.
I'm glad to be with you, Alex. And today, obviously, is a dark day when we got to see just how dangerous the Republican agenda could be and the kind of economically devastating bill that they can coalesce around. I wasn't surprised because I knew that ultimately, as a car, salesman, that he would make some sort of concession. And we saw that up to the last minute as he was begging for those votes. And, there were reports saying that he was telling his members, don't worry about the substance of the bill, just vote for it so that we can say we have done something. And it's really, disturbing the amount of economic damage that they are willing to inflict on America's poor and working families, our veterans, our seniors, our children. Basically, every single person in this country that they have promised that they were going to alleviate the economic anxieties that they were experiencing, they have now put out a bill that would actually create a lot of economic, a lot more economic anxiety, and as I said earlier, just economic depression for so many people.
A bipartisan bill to keep the government funded and avert a shutdown, at least for now. Lawmakers struck a deal last night with only a few hours remaining before that midnight deadline. Both the House and Senate voted to approve the funding measure to keep federal agencies open through November 17th. And in a dizzying turn of events, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy dropped his demands for steep spending cuts and relied on Democratic votes for passage of the bill. Now, it increases federal disaster assistance funding, but does not include aid for Ukraine, which, as you know, is a top priority for the White House. President Biden signed the measure late last night, saying he believed support for Ukraine would be approved later. Our teams in Washington have been following all of the developments this weekend. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry is at the White House, but we start with CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian there in our D.C. bureau. So, Nicole, let's talk about the bill. What's in it, what was dropped, and how did it finally pass?
Well, this is a pretty benign bill in the sense that it is a clean, continuing resolution. And what that means is it continues to fund the government at current spending levels for the next 45 days, roughly through November 17th. And then, of course, the hope is that we don't necessarily have to go through this process all over again. The hope is that by that time, Congress will have been able to pass all of its 12 appropriations bills to fund the government on a longer term basis. But what is included in this package is disaster relief. That is money that the White House had asked for and requested. What's not in the bill is funding for Ukraine. And of course, this just comes not long after the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited both members in the House and in the Senate. And there does appear to be a desire to move forward with Ukraine funding, some type of Ukraine funding package, but that could be a much heavier lift in the House than it will be in the Senate.
Nicole, let's get deeper into that, because since this continuing resolution fully drops aid to Ukraine, and that is such a priority for the White House, but something that a growing number of House Republicans have expressed displeasure with, do you expect that funding will be able to pass as a standalone measure for Ukraine?
Well, that is probably what we will see happen. Again, we have to see kind of what form and shape it takes. I mean, in terms of the government funding package, the White House had put forth about $6 billion, or in the Senate version of the continuing resolution, because keep in mind, the Senate had its own version, which included that Ukraine funding. And again, that was about $6 billion. We know the White House has asked for much more, upwards of $24 billion. So it remains to be seen, but it seems the logical next step would be to split it off into its own supplemental package. But again, as I mentioned, that could be a very heavy lift in the House, because we know a lot of conservative Republicans have expressed concerns about providing more funding to Ukraine. That's part of the reason why it was dropped out of this temporary government spending package, because it just would have held things up further. And to your question about how this got done so quickly, obviously it did require bipartisan support, both in the House and the Senate. But part of that was taking out some of those more controversial elements. So does it make it any easier to pass Ukraine funding? Probably not, but it does seem like Speaker McCarthy appears to be committed. Certainly Democrats are committing Speaker Kevin McCarthy to bringing a vote up. Again, what form and shape that takes remains to be seen.
Well, in our final remaining moments, I want to ask you about that uneasy alliance between House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader, and Democrats, who he was really forced to rely on in order to pass the measure. Do you expect that hardline Republicans are going to punish him for that?
Well, I think so long as the speaker has these very narrow margins, he will continue to face challenges. I mean, we know, for instance, that Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz has been a pretty vocal opponent of the speaker, and he has not really dropped his threat to put forth this motion to vacate, which is the procedure that would be needed to take as far as trying to potentially oust the speaker. But you heard the speaker pretty vociferously yesterday say, bring it if someone wants to try to oust him. So I don't think the speaker is deterred or intimidated, and he has tried to kind of smack down these threats before. But again, as we move through this funding process to fund the government on a more long-term basis, and as we approach this deadline in mid-November, it's certainly possible we could see more tension and friction play out within the House Republican conference.
Yeah, I think he said, if someone wants to remove me because I'm the adult in the room, go ahead and try. All right, Nicole Killian, thank you.
I wanted to do those three back to back. So it seems like right now, because understand that this bill that they're speaking of, I think it's a temporary bill. I think the actual bill that they have to come to agreement with is on November 17th. This was just a temporary stop. And with that, one of the main things they had on the floor that they're going back and forth about is funding of Ukraine for this proxy war. I call it the proxy war, y'all. I don't think it's a real war. I think it's a real war, but I think Ukraine is fighting for US. US don't want to say they fighting, so they're using Ukraine as being the strong arm. Now, y'all must remember reminder. Y'all remember when Pastor Darby said this? Ukraine, Russia, and China. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember it? So, yeah, he's not a false prophet. But they love to come at him. But he sure called that one, and he dead and gone now. But they love talking about Stephen Darby. They can't get his name out their mouth, so they real mad about him. But that's the issue right now with this. They're trying to find a way, and all this infighting, because it's a lot of infighting right now. because the whole thing they were trying to prevent from happening. They said that if we would have shut down the government, they said 2 million federal workers and 1 million active duty troops would not get financial support. So this spared the immediate impact on the finances it from by way of this shutdown. And that would have, if they would have had to shut down, it would have left them without pay until they made a decision. So, and it also would have impacted, I think, air travel. You heard that? It said it would have temporarily massively disrupted air travel, and would have caused all types of delays. I guess similar to the 2019 shutdown. So with this, it would have been impacted. So with this stopgap that they have, it was kind of like putting, stopgap measures passed by Congress did not include additional funding for Ukraine after McCarthy, and I'm reading something, after McCarthy put forward a bill without additional aid to the war-torn country. So with that, they ain't finna fund them anymore. Y'all, and I know a lot of y'all think that this is just fake. I think they're really fighting. I think the Most High is causing all of them to fight amongst each other. We've seen it in the Bible numerous times that sometimes we wouldn't fight the enemy. The enemy, they would fight each other. And I think that's where we are with this, where they're not necessarily faking it. I think really there is a financial issue. I think that, and I was watching Pastor Darby, he talked about, I watched somebody, I forgot her name, she posted it on her Facebook page. And Pastor Darby was talking about how with 9/11, I think like $2 trillion came up missing. And they said they lost it. No, I believe these governments be taking this money and lining their pockets. And now they running out of money. I really believe they trying to get more money. They trying to drain the swamp. And they can't drain the swamp right now because there's nothing else. People are tired. People are ready to, I'm talking about protest in the street right now because people who are living here are feeling the weight. Like I'm paying more and more taxes, and yet still y'all still trying to pull more and more taxes out of me. And it's because we got these government officials that's greedy. They're greedy. They're greedy. They're about money, and they already don't like us. If they could put us back, they ain't been quite right since they got rid of the slavery. That was free labor for them. But they're fighting against themselves because the Most High is not pleased. And he'll make them go into a fight with one another. And we just have to sit and watch. We don't get involved in it. I can care less. I don't care if they rolling and fighting in the middle of the floor. That has nothing to do with me. And I know some people will be like, oh, don't say that. Yep, I'm saying it. I don't care. I really don't. Y'all don't care nothing about us. So why should I care about y'all? Period. Now, some people would say, no, you live here. You should want things to work. Why? I don't care. I'm going to be honest. I don't care. Until y'all can create a bill to say y'all finna give me my reparations, I don't care if the bottom falls out. Because, it's inevitable. It is. It's prophecy. So this system that we live in now is going to be no more. It has to fall, and I've never been one to say it's not going to fall. It's going to fall. It's going to have to fall. But with that being said, I'm just watching. So another thing that's looming right now is one, they want McCarthy out. They pissed off because, and I'll play the video real quick. I let them talk. I don't talk. This commercial. Oh my God, hold on. Infighting. I'm going to show y'all infighting. Oh, they finna fight. Y'all stay out of it. Hold on.
Just heard Congressman Matt Gaetz say he's going to move to oust McCarthy as Speaker this week. If a motion to vacate the chair comes to the floor, how would you vote?
Well, my vote beginning this term for Speaker of the House was for Hakeem Jeffries, and I do not intend on voting for a Republican Speaker of the House, but I believe that it's up to the Republican conference to determine their own leadership and deal with their own problems. But it's not up to Democrats to save Republicans from themselves, especially.
So do you think that there will be any Democrats that might vote to save McCarthy?
I mean, I certainly don't think that we would expect to see that unless there's a real conversation between the Republican and Democratic caucuses and Republican and Democratic leadership about what that would mean. But I don't think we give up votes for free.
And but would you vote to vacate? Would you vote to get rid of McCarthy as Speaker?
Would I cast that vote? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Kevin McCarthy is a very weak speaker. He clearly has lost control of his caucus. He has brought the United States and millions of Americans to the brink, waiting until the final hour to keep the government open. And even then, only issuing a 45-day extension. So we're going to be right back in this place in November. And, I think that our main priority has to be the American people and what's going to keep our governance in a cohesive and strong place. But unless Kevin McCarthy asks for a vote, again, I don't think we give something away for free.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. That dude's old.
So we see. Oh, hold on. It's another thing. Oh, I know I'm going from video to video. I'm showing y'all the stuff that I've been looking at. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Oh, y'all know. Y'all here for it? We're going to talk. We're going to watch some videos and we're going to talk. That's my plan for today. Look at the title. So, invokes WW3 backing rule to block U.S. from going into it. Y'all see? Come on. We're finna watch.
Florida, the gentleman from Florida is recognized.
The American people need to observe what is happening on this floor. My colleague from Arizona is simply saying that in the $886 billion we're sending across the river to the Pentagon, we at least don't want that to fund U.S. troops, boots on the ground in Ukraine. And there seems to be no guardrail that some in this body would not accept so as to stop our country from inadvertently stumbling into World War III. I've got amendments upcoming to stop security assistance, but this is the humblest of amendments, seemingly to comport with what the body in a bipartisan way has expressed. We do not want American service members dying in Ukraine. That risks escalation. That risks accident. And, it always starts with just a few security advisors. That's how we got entangled in the Syrian civil war, and we ought to be disentangling ourselves from Ukraine and embracing the good amendment from my colleague from Arizona. I yield back to my colleague.
Florida, the gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Y'all see where it's going, right? Y'all see where it's going. I see it unfolding. It's about to go down. Here we go. Y'all here for the videos? Tell me, one, if y'all enjoying the videos, or do y'all want to hear me run my mouth? One, for the videos. Two, me running my mouth. Or three, a combination of both. Oh, this finna be interesting. Y'all here for the videos? Y'all finna do what I would do if I was. Y'all want me to be quiet? No, I'm just joking. Let's see. Hold on. Finna share the other one. Y'all know me. I'm here for it. Hold on.
Everything you wish for. Your site traffic is skyrocketing. until this happened.
Grim warning there from Ukraine's President Zelensky on accused war criminal Russian President Putin's strategy to simply wait it out, wait for more political instability right here in the U.S. as he looks to advance his own interests while being aided in the public information and propaganda space by a high-profile snub from the top Republican in the House. Kevin, sorry I gave away my speakership to Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, McCarthy. Politico reports that McCarthy and Zelensky will not have a one-on-one meeting when the Ukrainian president comes to Washington, D.C. this week, and offers some reporting on why that is. Politico reports this, quote, the notion of moving any Ukraine aid has appeared on the litany of grievances the hard right is using to threaten McCarthy's speakership. And even Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of McCarthy's top allies on the right, told Playbook recently that no amount of border funding could compensate for another injection of U.S. taxpayer money overseas, and calling the battle against Russia's invasion, quote, a war that should be over. McCarthy this afternoon confirmed that when he does see President Zelensky on Thursday, it will be in a group setting, a bipartisan group, that the GOP position on aid for a U.S. ally in a hot war with Russia is being driven by Marjorie Taylor Greene is only the second most outrageous part of this story. Here's Zelensky on the stakes of withdrawing U.S. support.
I just think they're not supporting only Ukraine alone. If Ukraine falls, Putin will surely go further. What will the United States of America do when Putin reaches the Baltic states, when he reaches the Polish border? He will. This is a lot of money. We have a lot of gratitude. What else must Ukraine do for everyone to measure our huge gratitude? We are dying in this war. Look, if Ukraine falls, what will happen in 10 years? Just think about it. If the Russians reach Poland, what's next? A third world war?
But not even the very real threat of a third world war could stop the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump from gushing when he heard about Vladimir Putin's warm fuzzies for him. Trump telling NBC News this, quote, well, I like that he said that because that means what I'm saying is right. Republican Party leaders in the U.S. bending to Putin as United States ally and Democratic leader of Ukraine, President Zelensky prepares to make a personal appeal before the United Nations General Assembly here in New York tomorrow for our continued support is where we start the hour with some of our favorite experts and friends. Retired four-star Army General and MSNBC military analyst Barry McCaffrey joins us. Joining me at the table, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California is here, and writer-at-large for The Bulwark and MSNBC political analyst Tim Miller is here. Congressman, I start with you. It's embarrassing, right? It's not just the Marjorie Taylor Greene keeping Kevin McCarthy from pledging ongoing support for an ally in the region. It's at the same time Trump playing coochie-coochie-coo with Putin over his compliments in an interview. When you see Zelensky, what do you say about that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that, the person who's second in line to the presidency has reduced himself to such a weak, pathetic position. We're talking about, a potential World War III, and the line for freedom is in Ukraine, and the tip of the spear is what we're doing to help Ukraine. So McCarthy leads a Putin bloc in Congress. And Donald Trump, by the way, when he says, I'll end this conflict within 24 hours, Vladimir Putin hears two things. One, I should stay in this conflict until, at least the next presidential election. He's got the men and the ability to just grind it out. And so there'll be more, dead children because Putin's going to stay in. And two, well, I know how to get Donald Trump elected because I helped him do it last time. If Kevin McCarthy and his conference are so hell-bent on going after China, which really does unite the Congress, the best way to keep China out of Taiwan is to show strength in Ukraine. If we pull out of Ukraine, not only could we see further losses in Europe, Xi and China would certainly see a green light to invade Taiwan. And then that's a real World War III scenario.
So I guess my question is, if we know what Putin was willing to do to help a reality TV star win in 2016 because he feared a Hillary Clinton presidency, and we know how willing Trump was to publicly embrace it, Putin, Russia, if you're listening, We also know that this time the stakes are so much higher for each of them. Trump is running to stay out of jail, and Putin is running to prevail in a hot war against America's allies. Do you worry about a failure of imagination to protect the country against what those two will do together?
We were too late to call out the disinformation, the hacking, the leaking, the dumping campaign that Putin led in 2016. And I faulted, the Obama administration in many ways for holding back because they heard Donald Trump say the election was going to be rigged, and they felt like if they called Russia out, it would validate Trump's concerns about a rigged election. We can't do that. We need to call out Russia.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical products. It's Amazon's other.
Every time we see it. And we also need to make sure that the private sector, social media companies, are also called out if their platforms are being used to launder Russian disinformation to get a preferred candidate in a presidential election.
Are those conversations ongoing?
Yes, certainly. And I have expressed that on the Homeland Security Committee and the Judiciary Committee. And also all of us, though, your viewers have a role to play, and the expectations that they can show, as I said, to social media companies, that your platforms cannot, again, be used for foreign interference.
Well, let me just ask you, and then I want to bring in Barry and Tim. When you say that on the Homeland Security and the Judiciary Committee, do the Republicans nod and say, yeah, we better? Or
No,
what do they say?
They want the disinformation. They're inviting the disinformation because they don't want, for example, Homeland Security or any agency to go to a platform and say it's being used for misinformation. They help file lawsuits to stop that. Now, thankfully, those lawsuits are not working, but they're not allies here. And I'll tell you what, if you're not condemning.
That report was kind of long. So I'm just going to get straight to the point. It looks like they're getting ready to go in. War is inevitable. It's going to happen. I will say this much, family. As time progresses, make sure, like I said, stay prayed up. Make sure you got what you need, because if this does happen, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. I think this is going to be a war of wars. So with that, with this war, I believe, and this is just what I believe, I'm not prophesying nothing. I think Africa is going to be heavily involved. And because Africa is involved, guess what's going to happen? They're going to start looking at us. We'll become a security concern. Have y'all heard about the black guy that ran, I think, to South Korea, and they sent him back, and he was talking about the racism? I said, oh, here we go. It's going to be a target on our back, because let's say, I think it was World War II when Japan, was it Japan? Yeah, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and did what they did. What happened is every Japanese American, it was North Korea. Every Japanese American was a target, and they ended up creating those concentration camps. I think in California. I think it was in San Francisco. And they were concerned because they were considered to be a threat, because Japan was considered to be a terrorist. Well, we considered to be a terrorist, and they started, they got concerned far as, other Japanese Americans or Japanese people coming in, doing what they want to do, far as doing terrorist acts, like what happened with, and I only use that word terrorist because it's the only word I can think of. So guess what happens if Africa gets in? Guess what's gonna happen? I got a feeling they're gonna start looking at us. I think this is when it's gonna start turning the fire on Yasharel. I think once Africa gets involved, the fire is gonna turn, and they're gonna start looking at us. And this is where we are gonna have to brace ourselves, because we're gonna become a target. We're already a target. Let's make that clear. We're already a target. They already don't like us. But it will turn. It will. I really believe it will turn. So, because we already live in a racist country, and that's all they need. That's all these folks need, is just a little bit. So, with that, I see the alliance happening with Africa and Russia. I really do. I see that alliance, and that's going to be the nail in the coffin of where we where it's got to go. So hold on. Oh, what is this? Craziness? Hold on. So I'm gonna share a video. I don't know where that video came from. I'm talking about happier. Never mind.
Speaking at a meeting with the South Sudan President Salva Kiir in Moscow, Putin noted Russia was one of the first countries to recognize the sovereignty and independence of South Sudan. Relations between our countries developed very intensively. We were one of the first countries to recognize the sovereignty and independence of South Sudan. I must say we believe that we have a lot to do, primarily in the area of economic development. South Sudan's president said he was happy for the warm welcome. South Sudan was one of the African countries present in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg.
I'm happy for the warm welcome that has been given to us with my delegation. And I'm here today as an opening for our long walk in the future.
The meeting took place as Kremlin seeks more allies amid the military campaign in Ukraine.
So,
Does that document that all of us in uniform?
So hold on. You said, have I been paying attention what the U.S. is doing in Africa? Have anybody in the community has been paying attention? Because y'all see, y'all all over the continent. I know I saw go black to Africa. There were a few people. I think it was some pushback from some of the African nations on the alliances, and they was reaching out to the U.S. I just kind of saw a thumbnail on that, and that's how I was gonna look at it. But this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting because you heard what they said, the Russia and Africa summit, and it's nothing but an alliance. And when they truly make that alliance, and I think I said this here recently, if let's say we do have World War III, when we have World War III, I believe it's going to be Russia, China, and Africa. Africa is going to be involved in it. Russia, China, Africa. And it's going to be U.S., Ukraine, and the European countries. And when that happens, it's going to be a collide. And what happens is, because Africa, you can't tell the difference. What's so funny is I was out shopping here in somebody on my team, new guy based out of India. I came into the meeting, and when I came into the meeting, the first thing he said to me, he said, "I thought you were South African when I first saw you." I said, "South African?" He said, "Yeah." He said, you look like a lot of the people from South Africa." So he said, "I thought you were South African." I said, "Oh no." I said, I'm of African descent. I said, "No, I was born here, and my family were brought over here, as a part of the slave trade. So I'm my family's been here for probably over 400 years. So that's why I was just telling them, you have to watch how you say that because people get sensitive." He said, oh, Martha. They love to call me Martha. "I thought you were from South Africa." I said, "Okay." So with that being said, the reason I said that is, you can't tell the difference between us and them. You can't tell the difference because we are the same people. Some of us. So with that being said, if something happens, and Africa is heavily involved in it, I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, a target is going to be on our back. One, Black people are already tired. And what's going to happen is, I really believe it's going to be a revolt where it's going to be Black people that's going to be like, "I'm not fighting with my people. I'm not going to war in Africa. I'm not going to war with my people over in Africa." So I really believe you're going to start seeing pushback from the military on the Black side. Black people are going to push back. With them, I really believe that's going to happen. It wouldn't shock me none if they change sides. And if that happens, guess what's going to happen? A target is going to be on everybody's back. Now the Most High got us covered. Let me clear this up. The Most High has us covered, but there are some things that's gonna have to transpire. Because my question is this: everybody's been talking about the wealth transfer. We're gonna get the wealth transfer. Most High gonna open the door. They're gonna want to give to us. What is gonna trigger them wanting to give to us? That's my question. Are they gonna do something to us, or attempt to do something to us, and then get called out and have to? I think it's not gonna be a thing of they want to. I think they're really not gonna have a choice. And I just think that wealth transfer is going to be like they've done us so wrong, and they're going to do. I think it's going to get. I'm trying to find a way to say this. I think it's going to get bad before it gets better. They're gonna do something to have to push that hand to say we're gonna give to them. Now again, the Most High is gonna cover us in the midst of it. But I think if this war is gonna be when it happens, because we got to be honest, family. We got to be honest. We got to get out of the fantasy land that everything is going to be all right. No, we're in the middle of a debt issue. You're in the middle of a war brewing. You have the Russian president aligning with Africa and China somewhere in the scenes, because China, they're sneaky, baby. They not going to openly hold it, say that they are part of it, but they are part of it. You got them making that alliance. Not to mention, China has already been in Africa for a little bit. So with that being said, all this stuff, it's like a whole bunch of stuff going on. And it's like something is finna bubble over. It's like 20 pots going on high. And you waiting for one of the pots to bubble over. You don't know which one finna bubble over, but one of them finna bubble over. Once that, it's going to be a domino effect. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think something is going to happen, and it's going to cause us to go to war, and people are going to have to make alliances then. These countries are going to have to make alliances. World War III is inevitable. It's coming. And yeah, and I think no, and I'm not trying to put, y'all know me, I'm queen of nah. I just saw the message from up next. I think the judgment is going to be on them. Definitely going to be on them. But I've been pondering over a few scriptures, especially when they say that we're going to be crying going back to our land, saying, take us back to Zion. Where is Zion? Where is Zion? And I'm sitting here saying, why are we going to be crying? And everybody says it's a joyous day. And let me see. Where is it? Where is that? I know the scripture. I can't find it. Hold on, sound like one of my pots. Hold on. I know y'all already got scriptures on deck. Hold on. I have to find it. And if anybody knows it, drop it in the link. But I really believe that we are going to be going back. But it's going to be a blessed day. But it's also going to be I believe we're going to have to go back. And it's going to be some stuff done dirty to us where we got to bounce. We're going to have to bounce. So it's just a matter of keeping our head, keeping aligned with the Most High, and making sure that that we stay in alignment with Him. So I just want to make sure that we stay prayed up ultimately, because it's gonna happen. And when it happens, like I said, some of the people across the pond that are our people are gonna be involved in this war, and they're gonna make that alliance. So when they make that alliance, it's gonna be real interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm only giving y'all my idea of what I think is gonna happen. It may not happen. Africa may, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's almost to the point where you're just waiting for them. It's only a matter of time. before you really begin to see the alliance between Russia and Africa. So, and Russia's just, I mean, Africa just tired. Africa is tired, and they tired of the West. Being leeches and pulling from their land, so they're looking for anywhere for an alliance for peace, and don't realize that Putin don't care nothing about them either, you know. But our people got to come to the realization that we got to look to each other, and maybe this alliance will wake some of them up to say we can't trust nobody but our own. But they got to stumble, they got to feel it, and that's how I feel, and I pray that nobody gets hurt. But if they align with Russia cares nothing about them. China cares nothing about them. Everybody's going for the land grab. That's why I say these prophecies that connect to Israel, saying that, you know, they're going to go in there and pillage and take. I think a lot of it is aligning with Africa as a whole, because again, I've heard nothing in the news about Africa. That's all I mean about Israel. That's all I've heard is Africa. And I'm like, it's going to be a land grab and a natural resource grab. And yeah, it's not going to be pretty for them. But yet and still, we as people over here got to be prayed up and understand that these things have to transpire. You know, when we go back, I really believe when we go back, they're going to want us to come back. It ain't going to be no conversation of we're going to make negotiations. It's going to be, please come back. and that's how it's going to be. Please, we need you here. That's why I'm kind of like sitting and I'm chilling and watching and just waiting, because when it happens, it's all going to align, and we're going to see it align. Nothing will be half done, because we don't serve a Yah that half does things. He's going to do things, and every piece is going to come together, and it's just going to be like, here, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. It ain't going to be no question nor a doubt. Everybody's going to be in alignment, and everybody's going to say, yep, it's time to go. So it may happen before. You don't know if they'll tell us, hey, just come back. I don't know. I don't want to say, because, you know, we don't know how this is going to play out, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Because I'm just watching. Anything so far? Family? Now, I'm going to drop the link. If anybody got anything they want to add to this conversation, come up. I ain't dropped the link in a long time. I'm trying it. Y'all better have some act right, or I'm going to pull that link so quick. I know Angie said, oh, Lord, she dropped. I know Sheila is like, oh, Lord, she just dropped the link. Yeah, I dropped the link, y'all. I'm a glutton for punishment. Hold on. Let me pin it. Oh, this is so funny. This is going to be funny. Y'all have some act right. I don't want this to be a mistake. I dropped the link. Who coming up? I'm going to give everybody a few minutes. Ooh. Please don't let this make me feel like this was a mistake. Oh, y'all know I'm bracing myself for this. Maybe nobody will take the link. Possibly. Maybe everybody's busy and not going to take the link. What y'all think? Y'all think somebody going to take the link and hop up here? All right. And y'all, I only got 45 minutes because I got to go and take care of something. So I'm waiting. Woo! Let me find some time. Well, no, Santonio is busy. I should text him and say, let me call LV. Hold on. All right. They may not jump up here because I ain't dropped the link in a long time. Ain't nobody said I ain't heard the pop sound in just yet. Somebody said the agents are probably in church. Y'all are hilarious. They probably are. Hold on, y'all. Checking my notes. Oh, if I have to act right. Right. All right. This is funny. Who is this? Somebody said they just want some. That's funny. Maria said, I just want some. You know what I could? I haven't done hot water cornbread. I got just normal cornbread. Let me see. Now, hot water cornbread is easy, and I do got a good cast iron skillet. I haven't made it in a while. Somebody drop me a good hot water cornbread recipe in this chat. I have not. I've tried to make it once. I got some. Give me a good recipe. I know one of y'all have never. I tried. Like I said, I think I tried it once. I may try. My daughter loves hot water cornbread, so I need something. While I'm waiting for people to drop it, somebody drop me a good hot water cornbread recipe. Cause I have all the stuff that I need. Like I said, I only made it once. I usually made pan oven cornbread, but man, that bread of mine, she love us some hot water cornbread. My daddy make it, so it should be easy though. Hot water cornbread easy. Hot water cornbread is easy. Ooh wee! I love me some good hot water cornbread. One thing I will say, we go over there to the continent, we're gonna be cooking it up. It's gonna be some good it's gonna be some good eating. Because I know everybody. So that's all it is: cornmeal, salt, unsalted water, and unsalted butter and boiling water to soften the cornmeal. That's gonna be easy. I might do that. I might do a little hot water cornbread. Hot water cornbread. That consists of. Ain't nobody dropped the recipe. Maybe I'll type it while I wait for people to get. Maybe ain't nobody coming up here. Maybe everybody's sick of me. Plain cornmeal. Oh, I used to love eating. Do y'all watch Eating Good with Freddie G? She is hilarious. Yep, it's boiled. That's all it is self-rising plain cornmeal. Something missing right here. You ain't got no salt in it. You gotta have a little salt in it. Let's see. I'm waiting to see who's gonna jump in. I can actually use beef bacon because it says we can't use bacon anymore. All right, so I guess ain't nobody gonna hop in, which I am good with it. I tried. Okay, we made it. I want to say thank God we made it. I ain't ate yet either. I got people saying I'm talking about food. I ain't eating. Well, no, I did have a little breakfast sandwich, but it wasn't like fire. It was all right. Okay, so cornmeal, sugar, butter, boiling water. I'm gonna try that. I am not gonna make that's like with greens. That's like a cuss word. Make jiffy cornbread. Now I do have me a good cast iron skillet, so I can make some good hot water cornbread. I guess ain't nobody coming. I am definitely good with it. So it says cornmeal, I'm trying to see. Yeah, I'm cooking. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna do hot water cornbread or just go with this cornbread I got. Melted. So I'm gonna have to cook something or get me something to eat because I am hungry. Oh yeah, I got me a cast iron skillet. I used to have 2 of them. My dad has a whole set. And he dares us to touch his cast iron skillets. And he done had these cast iron skillets since I was a baby. I remember seeing them. And cast iron skillets are a serious thing in the Black community. Like, you don't trust anybody to touch your cast iron skillets. Okay, so I'm gonna try it. Hey, I need a good hot water cornbread recipe. All y'all folks in here, I know y'all cook hot water cornbread. I ain't never cooked I cooked it, like I said, once. I'm gonna have to call Sheila or somebody because y'all playing. See, y'all not telling me what I need. I know Sheila or Angie, or I'm fine, Brew Queen. Let me see, cornmeal, sugar, salt, boiling hot water, and vegetable oil. I remember seeing larders when I was a kid with the hot water cornbread. I know I said that like 5 times back to back. Y'all be all right. I know somebody here got this. I'm gonna call Sheila. I'm gonna call you in a minute. When I get done with this live, and I'm gonna be like, hey, I know you know how to cook that. Somebody said they use grapeseed oil. I feel like that's blasphemy if you use grapeseed oil. I feel like that's blasphemous. Like, cornmeal, a tablespoon of honey. Wait a minute, they just said a cup of water. You off the rip. You didn't say boiling water. Moving forward. That's all right. I'm finna harass one of y'all. I'm finna call Brew Queen, somebody. But y'all, back on the subject. Why? Y'all see how Sheila do me. Y'all see, I'm gonna call Sheila. I'm still gonna call you. And you go give me that hot water cornbread recipe. I am going to harass you, Angie, or Brew Queen. Somebody finna give me that hot water cornbread recipe. I'm gonna call all y'all. So, but y'all, I have enjoyed this conversation. Y'all stay tuned for African Israelite Justice Foundation. We're gonna be doing some events. We'll be doing some stuff soon. And it's gonna be a fun thing. Benaiah is the president of the organization, which I think he is the best. I mean, all my brothers are great to be president, but I think right now in this season, he is doing an amazing job. And I he's one of those people that he's a leader and you just don't mind being under his leadership. I'm finna call Angie so I can talk to Lonnie, her husband, because he can give me that recipe because everybody else playing. Y'all playing with me in this chat. Y'all finna give me this cornbread recipe. And Sheila, don't judge me. I'm cooking unhealthy things. I'm making some candy yams, collard greens, roast, and I might make me some hot water cornbread. So, yeah, don't judge me. Don't judge me. This is just today. I decided to cook. I'm using turkey necks, family. I'm not using fatback. It's turkey necks in my greens. I've never cooked collard greens. I've always done turnip greens, but I couldn't find turnip greens. They only had collards. So, I'm a turnip green fanatic. But yeah, we're doing collards today, so it shouldn't be any different. Just requires a little bit more seasoning. So, all right. Hold on. Somebody gave it. Yes. See this? I knew something you came through. See how y'all do me. Cornmeal flour, a half cup of is that half a cup each? Wait a minute, half a cup of salt, baking powder, and hot water. Okay. I'm gonna try that. I like collard greens. I just never cooked it, but because we always eat turnips. I gotta pick. That's why I'm finna get off this thing. Get off this live because I gotta pick the greens and I gotta. The washing of greens, I think, is the most tedious part of the process. Everything else is fine. Like I can throw the turkey necks in there. I can throw and some sugar. I can throw the vet because I put my turkey necks, bell pepper, onion, a little teaspoon of garlic, season my water, let my turkey necks cook. That's fine. I hate the picking and the washing of the greens. Oh, Jesus, that's the hardest part. And I'm dreading it. And I got 4 bags. Well, I got 4 bunches. And I'm just like, oh. So I will be wrestling with greens for the next hour. So I might call some people and talk to them. They're going to talk to me while I do that because it's a tedious process. But I do want to cook. My daughter disrespect my pimping a couple of days ago. I'm saying it because I want to say it. But she did. I said, you disrespected my pimping. My friend asked me, she said, no, he said, does she know how to cook? Max was like, I don't know because she ain't cooked for me in a long time. I said, how dare you? How dare you disrespect my cooking? How dare you? I said, you know, when you see my daughter's 21 now. She just turned 21, y'all, on Tuesday. So we had to take her out for her birthday. I said, you're 21. You can't forget that when you were 7 and 8 and 9, who was doing all the cooking? Me. I said, we weren't going out to eat all the time. I said, so quit playing with me. I said, quit playing with me. I used to make cabbage. I used to be a cabbage eater. She said, yeah, you used to make good cabbage. She said, but you never really made greens. I said, because cabbage is easier to me. The cleaning process is easier. Greens, the cleaning process is a nightmare. And I'm getting ready to go do it now. And I'm just so irritated. I don't feel like it, y'all. So I will be doing it. So I'm going to get off this live and get started with the picking of the greens. So I hate this part. And I hate the chopping of the candy yams because candy yams are hard, or yams itself, or sweet potatoes, not candy, but the sweet potatoes, because it's hard to cut them. You got to have a good sharp knife. If you don't watch yourself, you're going to cut yourself. So, but all right, family. I have enjoyed this conversation. I'm getting ready to go and let's see, in case y'all don't know, dementia is wow. That's interesting. Yeah, I gotta let them soak for a minute, and then you got to take them from one sink to the next sink and just keep washing it. And here, I only have one sink, so I can't switch. Like I grew up where you had 2 sinks and you put the greens in one sink, close the stopper, let the greens get the water in there, and then take it out, put it on the other side of the sink, do the same process, take it out, put it on the other side. I'm working with one sink, so it'll be a handicap right now. So, yep. Well, I love y'all. Did y'all enjoy the live? Please tell me what y'all enjoyed, what I could have did better. I just want to do videos and kind of talk through all the stuff that's getting ready to go down. Also, there's a debate tonight. Zadok is going to be debating tonight on my channel. So y'all stay tuned for that. But other than that, family, I love y'all. And I am getting ready to bounce. And if I got that hot water cornbread recipe, send it to me. I already got one though. I'm finna work on it. Thank you. Because Sheila said she ain't finna give me one. Sheila. Ah, y'all see how Sheila do me. Y'all see how Sheila do me. I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing, y'all. I'm good. But I love y'all. Y'all have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your day. And get some rest. All righty. Shalom.